So on the run-up to Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, Mob have been revealing new smiling critters, or this time, nightmare critters. These seem to be anti-versions of the smiling critters with negative traits instead of positive ones. In fact, some people have already started to pair them off with each other, possibly showing how these critters are mirrored, like Mario and Wario or Santa Claus and me. He brings you presents once a year, and I bring you unhinged theories all year round. This is something that has been strongly hinted at by the Poppy Playtime community manager Tyler, who has talked about how anti-versions of characters was a popular theme in the 90s. But while these nightmare critters are being revealed one by one, there is one in particular that I have some huge thoughts about, one that stands out among all the rest, one that I think ties into a bunch of past theories, and one that I cannot talk about yet. You see, the partners in crime have already seen all of the new nightmare critters, but of course we are all under NDAs, so we can't talk about the ones that haven't been revealed yet. This is kind of frustrating considering there are numerous leaks and people have started theorizing already. Right now we just have to sit on our hands and wait, but it is what it is. That being said, I think there are some great theories being brought up about the nightmare critters that have been revealed so far, as well as some very interesting discourse around them. And yes, if you notice my voice is a little off, I am a little bit under the weather, but here I am making videos anyway, just go with it. Now the first thing I want to tackle is the idea that these are going to be the villain characters in Chapter 4. In Chapter 3 we had the whole new range of smiling critters revealed, with the monster version of Catnap being the main villain or monster that we had to deal with. Now this has led some people to theorize that the main villain in Chapter 4 will be a monster version of Baba Chops, who seems to be the dark mirror of Catnap. Well, the dark mirror of Catnap's nice form anyway. Now I do not think this is true at all. Not only has Tyler confirmed that there is more coming to Chapter 4 alongside the nightmare critters, but I even showed in my last video that there are huge hints that Boxy Boo could come to Chapter 4 as well. But even looking at past trends should tell you that these nightmare critters are unlikely to be the main focus of the chapter. In Chapter 3 we got a whole new line of smiling critters, but they were only one of the dangers we had to face. Monster Catnap was obviously the main villain, but we also had the TV Huggy, Mr. Light, the small smiling critters, and the possessed Dog Day. In fact, the smiling critters were only found in one area of the whole game. Considering we have just had the teaser trailer, and historically the Poppy Playtime teasers have not shown the main villain, not at the start anyway, I'm willing to bet that Monster Baba is not the main villain of Chapter 4. Now there is a chance that we will see a monster version of at least one of the nightmare critters, but if I had to put money on it, it would be on one of the ones that haven't been revealed yet. Seriously, it would all make sense when I release my theory next week, so make sure you sub so you don't miss that one. Now one really interesting theory I've seen floating around is that the nightmare critters are actually representations of teenagers. The smiling critters seem to be themed around young children and the behaviours you might expect from them. Naps, drawings, bursts of energy, healthy snacks, they all definitely seem to fit what you would expect a young child, maybe even a toddler, to do. But that's actually really dark when you think about it. Knowing that Playtime Co are transferring orphans into dolls, this hints at a terrible fate for some of the younger orphans. But now these nightmare critters seem to be taking on traits that you would consider more typical for teenagers. Being lazy, gossiping, excuses, following the crowd. This would make the whole Baba eating dog day even more cruel, the older kids picking on the younger ones. Something I could expect to have happened within Playtime Co, children really can be cruel. But I think there is an even more interesting interpretation to this. We've seen in the past that Playtime Co have manipulated both their employees and the orphans. The posters around the game are hints to this. And we also know that the orphans were made to go through these games that were secretly experiments to test their ability to adapt to the transfer process. While I previously theorized that the smiling critters were another way that they could manipulate those under their control, the smiling critters all embodied traits that Playtime Co would want from both their workers and their potential test subjects. Eating healthy, being energetic, coming up with creative solutions to problems, getting enough sleep. These were all beneficial to Playtime Co and so were encouraged. Now we see the nightmare critters embody traits that Playtime Co didn't like. Being low energy, challenging authority, not putting in maximum effort, and of course, gossiping. These are all things that Playtime Co discouraged, and so very subtly, they were telling the kids and the employees that these traits were bad. Take Raby Baby for example. Yes, that name is terrible, but she's described as being someone who can't keep secrets, something that Playtime Co were very concerned about with all the secrets they were keeping. But looking at her description, it almost reads like a bad employee review. Not only does this feel like a way for Playtime Co to discourage gossiping, but it also feels like they are planting the seeds of an idea in employees' heads. Those who gossip usually make things up. Of course, we shouldn't listen to them now, should we? But this gets even darker when you think about what all this means. Since Playtime Co are very subtly manipulating their employees with these toys, there could be another hint here, even a threat. These nightmare critters have pendants, just like their smiling critter counterpart. But of course, with these being the anti-versions, these all have negative themes instead of positive ones. Well, if we are assuming that Playtime Co were using these nightmare critters as a way to tell staff and children what not to do, then these pendants suddenly become much more sinister. These feel more like a subtle hint at what will happen to you if you break these rules. If you don't pull your weight, if you challenge authority, and worst of all, if you spill Playtime Co secrets, then you might just find yourself a pile of bones. In fact, several of these new toys are shown with fangs or sharp teeth, another subtle hint that at any time, you could be the one fed to the toys. Whether you like these new designs or not, I don't think it really matters. I think these are going to be side characters if anything, but I do think they tie into Playtime Co's philosophy of hiding their most sinister secrets behind mostly innocent-looking toys. And as we'll soon see next week, some of these sinister secrets might have been in front of our faces this entire time. If you did enjoy this mini theory, don't forget to leave the video a like. I have plenty more on the channel and plenty more coming. I will also have an announcement very soon about how you can support the channel further if you want to. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later, Alistair Gator.